Did y'all know that according to the Death Penalty Information Center, 27 out of 50 states in the United States have the death penalty? Now, according to this chart right here, the dark blue have the death penalty and then the light blue do not. But as you can see, there's a third section, and that section is the death penalty is government imposed. So that means they have a lot of crime rate, and so they have to have the death penalty. And it's enforced by the government, and the state does not get an opinion on that. Mostly because there are federal courts that are very important in that area. Now, this is important to y'all because these laws protect you and everyone around you. So are you comfortable with the death penalty or not? If you're not sure, then let me help explain both sides. I know a lot about this from research and personal studies because I've done much research on this back in high school, and I have a personal interest in it. First of all, the death penalty needs to be understood for it to be thought of as good or bad. The first thing to consider is whether the death penalty is good and beneficial for its citizens. Firstly, the death penalty is a sure way to provide justice and closure for its victims and their family and friends. According to Britannica in 2025, there were statements from families about how this system brought them justice and retribution. Now, for those of you who don't know, retribution and revenge are not the same thing. Retribution is punishment inflicted on someone as vengeance for a wrong or criminal act. Now, revenge is the action of inflicting harm on someone for an injury or wrong suffered at their own hands. Secondly, God tells us that we are to trade eye for an eye. In Leviticus 24, 19 through 20, the New International Version, anyone who injures their neighbor is to be injured in the same manner. Fracture for fracture, eye for eye, tooth for tooth. The one who has inflicted the injury must suffer the same injury. Now, as Christians, from the Old Testament point of view, we are brought to seek retribution, not revenge, for the hands of God and for anyone and everyone, not just the people we love. That means neighbors. That even means people you might not like our enemies. We have to seek retribution and seek what's right for them. On the other hand, many people believe that the death penalty is immoral and not beneficial to the citizens of the United States, and that it causes more bad than good. Firstly, we go to the New Testament now. Jesus says that we should turn the other cheek. You have heard that it was said, eye for an eye and tooth for a tooth. But I tell you, do not resist an evil person. If anyone slaps you on the right cheek, turn to them the other cheek also. This is in Matthew 5, 38 through 39 in the New International Version. Now, in the Old Testament, or in the New Testament, as Christians, we are called to forgive. Just as Jesus forgave us and forgave us of our sins, we are called to forgive other people and all of their sins. No matter what it may be, if it might be stealing grocery food from a store, or just calling me a bad person and I should forgive them, to committing murder. We're supposed to forgive them for any of their wrongful actions. Secondly, states with the death penalty do not have a lower crime rate, but in fact, they have a higher crime rate with states without the death penalty. Now, there have been many articles, many studies as to why, but they're still looking for an answer. Now, I know this is a lot of numbers, but according to the article Crime Rates by States from the website Death Penalty Information Center in 2020, all of these numbers are the crime rates in their states. Now, in Texas, we see that in 2020, we had a crime rate of 6.60 with the death penalty, and all the yellow are states without the death penalty. All of their crime rates are lower. And studies show that it's mostly because when there is a death penalty, people have that sense to just not pay attention. They have that sense to commit more crime. They can commit lower crime because they probably won't get it. And so that leads to higher crime rates. Now, to wrap this up, has the death penalty gone too far? Well, we see that in the Bible in the Old Testament, God tells us to inflict retribution on the person who inflicted pain and harm. But in the New Testament, Jesus tells us to turn the other cheek and to not look for retribution, but offer forgiveness. We also see that crime rates have risen in states with the death penalty and not in states without. But we do see that the death penalty has brought a sense of justice to the victims and their families. Lastly, the death penalty can be thought of as good or bad, but with the data I just presented, you can now form a better opinion. Thank you.